So remember the Astra TwinTop? Well, this is its successor, the Cascada, and Vauxhall pitches this 4-seater convertible as a competitor to premium soft tops from BMW and Audi. Now, the current gen Cascada does date back to 2013, so some may question its ability to compete against more up-to-date competition, let alone German competition. So let's see, shall we? So before we drive with the roof down, I just want to talk about this 168 brake horsepower 2-litre diesel mated to this 6-speed manual. And you can no doubt hear this diesel as I rev it out, because overall this diesel is quite unrefined. I mean, you can actually feel it clearing its throat through the steering wheel. Now, this diesel has got 400 newton meters of torque and can get to 60 miles per hour in under 10 seconds, which is quite nippy. It's also the most efficient engine the Cascada has to offer, emitting just 129 grams per kilometre. If you're sensible in the way you drive, you should be able to get around 50 miles per gallon. But this is a convertible, a car that's supposed to be a pleasure to drive, and for that reason, I think you're better going for one of the 1.4 litre, 1.6 litre or 2 litre petrols, which have power ranging from 138 brake horsepower to 197 brake horsepower. Now, let's talk about the all-important folding roof. Now, to fold it down, you activate this mechanism down here, and it takes 17 seconds to fold into the boot. And you can do this at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. And if you want the cabin to be a bit quieter, then you can opt for an acoustic roof, and this roof's actually strong enough to go through a drive-through car wash. Definitely a perk. Now, if you want to fold the roof back into position, that will take 19 seconds. So, is the Cascada good to drive? Well, it's not as simple as yes or no. On one hand, the ride can be crashy and due to its Insignia VXR DNA, and the body can shake at times as well. But that firm ride does pay off in the corners, as the car's very well planted and there's loads of grip. The steering's got a bit of a split personality as well, as it's responsive and the weight's pretty good, but there's hardly any feedback. You don't really feel involved in the driving experience. A few other things worth mentioning as well is the visibility, or lack of it, especially with the roof up, and it's been a while since I've driven a car that's this deceivingly big. I mean, the Cascada feels huge. So, what comes to mind when you first look at this? For me, it screams previous generation Astra and Insignia, which is to say, there's just far too many buttons. Confusingly, some of them have symbols and some of them have text. But I'm getting ahead of myself. One of the first things that will also come to mind in here is the upmarket feel. You've got this leather stitching on the dashboard, very nice. These pseudo carbon fibre trim, which dotted all over the place, and you've also got these excellent sport seats. Storage up front's pretty good as well. You've got these 2 cup holders in the centre, which is also doubles up as a nice cubby. You've got storage under this armrest, and you've got some decent sized door bins too. Kit is one of the Cascada's best bits, as all models come with cruise control, aircon, rear parking sensors, leather wrapped steering wheel and DAB radio. And the only other trim above the entry-level SE model is this flagship Elite trim. Now, this comes with the likes of heated leather seats, a heated steering wheel. You also get dual zone climate control and automatic headlights. My favourite feature though has got to be these electronic arms, which eliminate the need to reach for your seatbelt, and they actually remind me a bit of the self-lacing shoes from Back to the Future. Now, when it comes to practicality, it seems every plus point in the Cascada is met with a negative. For example, these doors open nice and wide, which make it very easy to get in. However, it does make it very difficult to park next to other cars and next to walls. Same goes for the rear. I mean, if I climb in here, move the seat for you. As you can see, these seats are very comfortable. You've got 2 cup holders, a nice armrest, and when these windows are up, it actually lets quite a bit of light in to avoid claustrophobia. However, put these seats in position and you haven't got much leg room, and trust me, when the roof's up, you haven't got much headroom either. When you haven't got the roof folded down, you've got 380 litres of space to play around with in the boot, which can be accessed a bit easier if you fold this little flap up. However, when you have got the roof down, this is occupied and you lose 100 litres of that space. But you can maximise space, again, up to 750 litres if you fold the rear seats down. You can do this by just pressing these little buttons here. Price for the Cascada start from around £25,000, but if you want to go for all-out luxury with the elite trim, the optional leather pack and the sat-nav, then you can pay around £34,000. Now for that price you can have a well-specced Audi A3 convertible or a BMW 2 Series convertible. The Cascada ultimately ends up floating in limbo between those with German badge loyalty and those who just simply can't afford it. I mean, sure, there's some cool features on offer, like its standout style, its plentiful kit, and elements of its drive. But the Cascada just feels like it needs to mature a bit more before it can competently compete against brands that have already worked out their respective kinks in the cabriolet market. What do you think of the Cascada? Let us know in the comments section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the inquire button to find out more details about this car, or for any other models, visit carkeys.co.uk. And to watch more reviews, click one of the links on screen now.